either. Washington on the other side has been more consistently impressive, but the implosion of Oregon devalues the Huskies, winning that matchup. Stanford's ongoing struggles have also devalued the Huskies' win. And Washington's non-conference featured Rutgers, Idaho, and Portland State. And its only matchup against the current top 25 team was last week's win over Utah. So you can kind of see it that way. But the bigger issue is how the committee actually broke down. I mean, we're talking in the top 10 or top 15, there's something like, top 13 teams, 5 of them are in the SEC and 5 are in the Big Ten. And the only others in the top 13 are Clemson, Louisville, and Washington. So I think they're overvaluing Big Ten and SEC to the point to where you've got, and here's my biggest problem, and should be everybody's problem, really, is that Penn State is 12th. Now, the fact that you've got Penn State 12th, there is no way that if you've watched Penn State play football, that they are the 12th best team in college football, let alone that, and I'll just use Colorado as the next example in comparison at 15.
Yep, I agree.
There's no way that you could say that Penn State is a better football team than Colorado. And the only reason why Penn State's there is because they beat Ohio State. And when Kirby Hocutt cited Penn State's 4 wins, those 4 wins are Temple, Minnesota that they needed OT to escape, Ohio State, and Maryland. That's a flimsy argument. And then you're also talking about their 2 losses was against a decent Pitt team and a blowout against Michigan. I mean, on the other side is that they demolished Purdue, so right after the Ohio State game, they demolished Purdue, so clearly the committee and Kirby Hocutt are only looking at 2 weeks' worth of work.
Right.
And Penn State does have winnable games against Iowa, which I think they'll beat. Indiana, Rutgers, again, or Michigan State. And they could get to the New Year's Six Bowl, but, I mean, come on. Penn State is not in that category where they deserve a New Year's Bowl game.
I agree with you 100% on that. I was wondering if you were going to pick that up. I was focusing on that Texas A&M, obviously, but yeah, Penn State and even CU being at 15. I think that's a little high for CU. Sure, they got another win this week over UCLA, but we all saw how that game went. It was not a pretty one.
Hey, CU 15. If Cephaleucel doesn't get hurt, they beat Michigan.
There's a very good chance. That was a tight game right until Cephaleucel got hurt. So, they'll keep it rolling.
You do realize that CU is atop the Pac-12 South and has a real shot at winning the Pac-12.
Looking at the remainder of their schedule, they're only big. They have Arizona, they have Washington State, and then they have Utah at the last game there in
Washington State. By the way, you got to check out, if you haven't seen Falk at Washington State and Washington State play. Washington State is good.
Yeah.
So is that quarterback, Falk.
Yeah, they're better than their.
Check them out.
What are they ranked this week?
I guess in closing, you also got to add that. Just think about it. If Les Miles wouldn't have been messing around and actually had an offense, we're talking about a close loss against Wisconsin, who is 8th. We have a close loss against Auburn, who is 9th.
Mm-hmm. And they're right.
Once again, we're talking about, what ifs. But here's the other key to talk about that game real quick. Is that last year LSU was 7-0 against Alabama. Even at 7-0 against Alabama, fans didn't feel the way they do right now against Alabama.
Right.
It's a huge difference in terms of how the fan base and how the team is playing, and all we want is for them to show up and play hard. We get beat, they get beat.
Right, that's all we can ask for. It's going to be a great game, that's for sure. I'm excited. I want to thank you for calling in this week. There was some great conversations, some great stats, some great knowledge you put on us, and I'm looking forward to next week.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk to you again next week, Chris. I appreciate it. That's the DC 3PO College Football Kickoff.
Right on.
All right, buddy.
Later.
All right, that was the DC3PO College Football Kickoff with Chris Rupert from the DirtCannon.com, the official fantasy partner of Real Deal Sports Talk with KP. After the break, we'll get into NFL games, and then we'll get you out of here so you can start watching your college football for the weekend.
Hey guys, the NFL is back. It's time to win some cash playing fantasy football. The DirtCannon.com is a local company that has your back. They have produced over 60% winners on FanDuel, DraftKings, and now even Yahoo. The DirtCannon.com will help you build, play, and win. Build a better team with the DirtCannon.com. Use promo code RDST and get $5 off forever, and try the Silver membership this week for free. Visit thedirtcannon.com.
Definitely check them out. Again, we're repping local Colorado companies here, the DirtCannon.com. They're doing big things. Their sports analytics, their lineup analyzer, check them out. They got great articles. They got great insight. They've been helping me through my fantasy so far. I have just sit there and bear it this week in our fantasy league. They're doing pretty well. I'd like to everybody to notice, however, I've given up the second fewest points in the league, and I've scored by far the most points in the league, even though you see me sitting currently in third place. I will be tough to play in the playoffs. Just putting that out there. All right, let's get into my midseason MVP candidates right now for the NFL. These are four guys. I think it's going to come down to one of them. It's definitely going to depend on how the second half plays out. There's a clear front runner based on team's record. I don't always go with team record. I go with the guy who means the most to the team. That's how I see it being played out. And when I go through that, this is my rank of those players, 1 to 4, based on who's more important to their team and also playing at an extremely high level right now. And right now, I have 4 quarterbacks on my list. I don't have a defensive player I can throw in there right now. I'm a defensive guy. I really wish I had one, but I don't. I don't have a running back or a receiver who's really just doing their own thing to make their case as an MVP candidate. Julio Jones is kind of close, but unfortunately for him, the guy who tops my list, his quarterback, Matt Ryan, right now is the leading MVP candidate in the NFL at this point in the season. The numbers he's putting up are ridiculous. I mean, they are video game numbers, and due in part, that is somewhat to do with Julio Jones, but it's also to do with their running backs. It's also to do with the addition of Sanu. They're hitting the tight end game here and there. It's been a lot that have helped the Atlanta Falcons do what they're doing, spreading the ball around, but Matt Ryan has been the catalyst to all of that. The way he is playing in that system right now, Kyle Shanahan's system, who most likely leaves the Falcons at the end of this season to be a head coach, if everything continues to go as it's going for the Falcons and they don't implode like they did last year, you will see Shanahan, I'm sure, get a head coaching opportunity. But he is clicking with Matt Ryan right now, and everything's working. They're seeing the game the same way. That leads to the second person on my list. He's also seeing the game the same way as his offensive coordinator, Jim Bob Cooter. That is Matthew Stafford of the Detroit Lions, One Pride. That's right. I got my guy second in the race right now. Yes, we're sitting at 4-4. We're on the outside looking in currently, but we are at 4-4 because of the play of Matthew Stafford. The way he sees the game right now, the efficiency he's playing with, the injuries all around the team. We got a defense that you wouldn't field in a preseason game except for, maybe the 4th game going right now pretty much. And we continue to roll. We continue to play hard. Third on my list is going to be Derek Carr, of the Oakland Raiders. He's doing exceptionally well with the offense there. It is not credit to Jack Del Rio. It is a credit to the offensive side of the ball and what Reggie McKenzie's doing. I do not believe in Jack Del Rio as a head coach. I can't give him any credit outside of that 2-point call at the end of the Saints game that gave them the win there. The defense is horrible. That's what he is. He's the defensive side. Him and Ken Norton need to really get that thing going, because if they don't get it up at least outside of the 20s, like to 19, they're not going to be a playoff Super Bowl winning team. It just won't happen. You need defense when it comes down to that end of the season, and they don't have it. And the last guy on the list, obviously, you got Tom Brady. Most people's front runner because, look, they got the best record in the league. They're playing dominant football right now. But he's clearly not the most important player out of any of those guys to his team. If you take Derek Carr out of Oakland, that team will fall apart completely. They won't have anything left. He is what's making that team run. You take Stafford out, same thing. Matt Ryan, same thing. We saw how New England was able to start the season without Brady. First 4 games, they go 3-1. They just haven't, lost since then. Awesome what he's doing. The numbers are amazing, but he's a little bit behind the rest of those guys in that aspect. Now, there was some other stuff I was going to hit, but I really want to get into the NFL preview this week. Like I said, as far as the fantasy matchup, I got my friends Just Sid and Barrett this week. They are sitting in first place, I believe, so this is a big one for us. We'll see how it plays out at the end of the week. I got a lot of points from Mike Evans the other night in the Atlanta-Tampa Bay game. Atlanta pulls that one out huge, 43-28. Matt Ryan, another 4 touchdowns. If you have Matt Ryan this week, you got over big. Pittsburgh and Baltimore in a big rival game today. I will take Pittsburgh even if Big Ben doesn't play. Dallas and Cleveland, this looks like a trap game for Dallas, but I think they're able to pull it out and focus. It could be closer than most people think. Jacksonville and Kansas City, that should be an easy win for Kansas City. Jets and Miami, that's a nice AFC East matchup. Could go either way. Maybe the Jets actually play some football this week. Who knows? Detroit and Minnesota. There's a little light in the tunnel now for Detroit. Vikings lose their offensive coordinator this week. They got a couple key starters, Boone and Kendricks, out on the defensive side of the ball. Maybe Detroit can go up to Minnesota and steal one. I would love nothing more. Philadelphia and the Giants, this is going to be a tough fought game. Expect Philadelphia's defense to really give the Giants some trouble. You might even see Odell Beckham throw a little tantrum there as that game goes on. Carolina and LA, watch it if you want to. I really don't know what to say about that game. I'm not impressed with either one of those teams this year. New Orleans, San Francisco, there's another downer in the afternoon schedule. Green Bay, Indianapolis. I'm trying to find a good game in the afternoon schedule. That game, expect Green Bay most likely to win that game. Good game in the afternoon schedule. The one good game in the afternoon schedule will be Tennessee and San Diego tomorrow afternoon. That one I really think will be good as Tennessee's coming on strong with their running game and they're dominating on the offensive line. And, I did pick them to win the division shockingly. At the beginning of the season, they kind of made me think I was wrong, and now they're playing a little better. Mariota's playing better. San Diego's a much better team than their record indicates with the way they're playing. Look for that to definitely be the best of the 4 afternoon games tomorrow, leading into what's going to be a great Sunday night game with the Broncos and the Raiders. Both teams sitting atop the AFC West with matching 6-2 records. You got a team with a great defense and an average offense right now going against a great offense and a below average defense. I expect the Broncos ultimately to come out on top in this one if they play their game and don't get too caught up into Broncos-Raiders week. And then finishing off the week, you got Seattle and Buffalo on Monday night. Buffalo, every year I expect Buffalo to be better than they are, similar to the Rams in that aspect. Seattle's playing really good football this year again, behind the play of Russell Wilson. They've all kind of bought in to his style and his philosophy and his leadership there. So Seattle's got a lot of good things going. On the other side of the break, we'll hit just one more topic. I got to give some guy respect for what he's doing, and then we'll get out of here.
Hey guys, the NFL is back. It's time to win some cash playing fantasy football. TheDirtCannon.com is a local company that has your back. They have produced over 60% winners on FanDuel, DraftKings, and now even Yahoo. TheDirtCannon.com will help you build, play, and win. Build a better team with TheDirtCannon.com. Use promo code RDST and get $5 off forever, and try the silver membership this week for free. Visit TheDirtCannon.com.
All right, this last thing, we talked about this a few weeks ago with DeAndre Levy. He was raising money to help get old rape kits tested so they can be prosecuted and found out what's going on. He has officially raised over $30,000 for those people and those victims. Congratulations to you, sir. Much respect. Until next time, everybody, be real.